Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going over the long-awaited cast reveal of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 8. And if you're like me and have been waiting for this reveal since the end of Season 7 last year, then you are probably freaking the frick out right now. So in honor of this amazing reveal that we got today, I am going to read everyone in the cast. I'm going to be going off of the Meet the Queens video that was published, I think, last night, but I saw it floating around on Facebook this morning. So I went ahead and just watched it then. And if you don't know what the Meet the Queens video is, it's when each of the queens sit down in front of the camera. The producers ask them a couple questions to get to know their personality. You get to see how they act in front of people, what their mindset is like, stuff like that. I definitely had my favorites, and I definitely had the queens that I just don't think are going to make it very far in the competition. So we'll go ahead and start from where I began the videos, and we will get to the reading. So the first queen that popped up that I saw, Chi Devayne. Honestly, she seemed kind of, like, you know, standard pretty girl. I don't like the eyebrow highlight that she has in the promo picture, personally, but that's just my opinion. She looks a little too fish glam to be really standout-ish, in my opinion. She just seemed really kind of flatline, didn't really leave much of a impression with me. I don't think she's gonna make it that far. Up next, there was Dax exclamation point. Now, I didn't know this, but Dax is actually Violet Chachki's drag mother, who was the winner of Season 7. So, you know, Violet obviously learned from her, so quite possibly that Dax is going to bring most of the stuff that Violet brought to the table to the competition. The only thing I can see bad about that is just doing a total recreation of Violet, which I know they don't really like on the show if you just flat out copy another queen that has been on the show in a past season. I do like how, I do remember that she said she was like the cosplay queen, which is kind of like me. I kind of like to dress up as other characters that have already been made by other people just for fun. I do know that Fifi O'Hara does that too sometimes. She'll just dress up as like a comic book character or like a Pokemon character, anime character, something like that. So I am looking forward to seeing what Dax can bring to the table in terms of that. Up next, there is Acid Betty. When I first saw her picture, I was like, really another like explosive, big eye, big hair kind of queen. But after I saw her Meet the Queens interview, she actually seemed like a really cool person. She is the oldest one in the competition this year, so she is going to be a little bit more experienced in terms of her creations and what she brings to the runway and stuff like that. A lot of people have been predicting that she is going to be in the top 3, which I don't know how people are even making these predictions already when all we have to base off of is these videos. We don't even know what they wear on the runways yet, let alone what they're going to do on the show, or when they're going to be eliminated, or if they're going to win the competition or anything. But yeah, I did kind of like Acid Betty's interview. She seemed like a really cool person, and I'm definitely going to root for her. Up next, there was Derek Barry. Now, I've been following Derek for about a year now on Instagram because she was tagged in some other Queens video. But I've been a really big fan of her ever since I discovered her. I am going to Vegas later in the year, hoping to go to a couple drag shows, so hopefully she'll be there at some point. She is really pretty though. She is the Britney Spears impersonator, so obviously she does know how to recreate looks kind of like Chad Michaels did with Cher, like that. I do know that the judges don't really like that. They like being able to impersonate people, but I know like when Chad did Cher for the Snatch Game, all the judges got kind of iffy, like, oh, we know you can do Cher, so you can do something better than this. So I'm kind of wondering what else Derek can bring to the table in terms of just Britney, because I've only ever seen him as Britney. Oh my god, the next one, oh my god, I want her to win so bad. Bob the drag queen. At first, when I saw her picture, I was like, oh my god, just another campy queen. Get her out of here. She doesn't know what she's doing. Gonna be out in the first couple of challenges. But oh my god, after her Meet the Queens interview, I literally was losing my shit. She is one of the funniest people I have ever seen on this show. I mean, all the jokes she was making, all of like the puns and just like the timing of everything was perfect. She just kind of reminds me of like another Bianca Del Rio almost, but even Bianca wasn't that funny. I mean, Bianca's funny. I've seen her live before and she's like, I was dying the entire time, but I cannot wait to see what Bob brings to the show on the comedy challenge, on the snatch game, stuff like that. Oh my god, she is my number one right now. I cannot wait till she walks into the workroom on the first day. Up next is Cynthia Lee Fontaine. Now my first inkling when I saw Cynthia was, really? Like, she was talking about in her interview being like dramatic fish glamour, when in her intro picture she's literally just wearing eyeliner and lashes. Like, I don't even think she has any shadow on for the most part, and she's using her natural brows and stuff, which, I mean, I use my natural brows in drag about 80% of the time, so I know that that's a workable area. But I mean, when you're talking about big dramatic glam, that's not the first thing that comes to mind, is natural. She is the Puerto Rican girl of this season. I know every season tries to have one, just for the diversity, which I appreciate. But she just didn't really stand out that much. Her outfit's really like Goodwill 50s housewife kind of thing. Nothing too dramatic, nothing too explosive like anything else. She's cute. She won't last very long in my opinion though. Next is the one that everyone and their grandmother was saying was going to be on this show, Kimchi, who's been speculated to be on the show since I think season 5. People were talking about her. She's cute. She's really good friends with Trixie Mattel, I know, and their styles kind of mirror each other. Trixie has the really big eyebrows up here, and giant blonde hair, and lips that go out to like here with a very, very sharp contour. And that's basically what Kimchi does. She's like the Asian version of Trixie Mattel. Everyone's saying that she's going to win this season, which again, I don't know how people can say that not knowing what they can bring to the table. But, you know, after seeing some of her Instagram work and stuff, I can see how people will think that because her repertoire is so expansive. But to me, she's not really top 3 material. Up next is Laila McQueen. Now, Laila was my favorite watching the videos until I saw Bob's video. Once I saw Bob's, I'm like, no one is going to beat this. But Laila, she's cute. She's like really like punk, gothy, rocky, which is kind of like my style, which is really cool. She was making a lot of comparisons to people copying like the goth style, like Sharon Needles does, saying they're like Sharon Needle knockoffs, which I tend to do sometimes, so I'm kind of in that boat. But like, I agree with her. Something she said was like, she thinks that more people can express on styles like that, not just Sharon, but other people can have that kind of aspect to their designs. And she looks a lot like Adore Delano. Like, she has like the very sharp pointed chin, big eyes, kind of chola looking, has the same kind, almost tattoo on her arm right here, really pretty. She's cute, I'll admit. She's in my top 3. I can see her getting kind of far. Maybe not as far as top 3, but you know, I'm rooting for her. I also really liked when they were saying like, what would be your team's hashtag? And she said that hers would be like, I don't know, like buttermilk pancakes or something, which I'm definitely going to make into a tweet at some point once the competition gets going. Up next was Naomi Smalls. The first thing I really noticed about her is she said she was 21 years old, which is how old I am. So I was like, oh, I could be on the show too. But she looks maybe like 26, 27, albeit she is in makeup and not looking like her normal self, so I don't know what she looks like as a boy yet. But yeah, that does really caught me off guard, saying she was the same age as me but looked a lot older than that. Her style's cute, like her intro look was like kind of like short bob color with a nice pink, really sharp collar look. She had a really nice, weird name origin comparing Naomi Campbell to Biggie Smalls, which isn't really a combination I would have thought of myself, but you know, if whatever floats your boat, you know. She almost looks kind of like Trinity K. Bonet from season 6. That's just probably my opinion. Again, she's cute. Not really far up in my book though. Up next was Neisha Lopez. She annoyed me from the beginning. I'm sorry. Another pageant girl. I don't really like pageant girls myself. But you know, that's just my opinion. I can't vouch for everyone on that. Another thing that kind of annoyed me is she was like the whole like, oh my gosh, I look just like Jennifer Lopez. We're the same size, we're the same shoe size, we're the same weight, we're the same height. I'm like, girl, we get it. You like Jennifer Lopez, but you don't even look like her, so shut up. My first impression when I saw her picture was she looked almost like one of the guys from the makeup challenge from a couple of seasons ago when they did the Army veterans. She looks just like one of the veterans that they brought in, so I'm like, oh, that's charming. Again, not too high up on my ladder, she's gonna be gone soon. Then we had Robbie Turner. I thought Robbie was pretty cool. She was like the whole like retro vintage glam kind of girl, even though she looks like she's only like 25 to 30 years old. But I did like that about her. She seemed really well versed on what she could do. I found it really interesting when they were going over how they got their names, and she was saying she got hers because at the club she performed at, they didn't let the performers use girl names. So what she did is she picked another boy name from some book, I forget what the book was, but yeah, she just went ahead and made a fake boy name and called it Macaroni. She's gonna be on my top 5 maybe. I'm definitely picking her. And lastly was Thor. She seems like the kind of girl who's gonna be kind of annoying at first, but will start to like become everyone's favorite as the season goes on. If she stays that long, I'm not sure. Her entry look looks pretty cool. She has like the big kind of like beehive bouffant kind of style with the leopard and leather kind of look, which looks pretty cool. I don't remember too much about her from her interview, except for the fact that she said that her middle name was Thor, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, that's really the coolest thing I can say about her, unfortunately, right now. But we'll see how the season goes, if she stays up long enough to make an impression, you know? And that is it for the queens that were introduced for this season of Drag Race, season 8. I don't really want to say that it's the oddest cast of queens that they've had on the show so far, but I would say it's the most like unexpected cast that they've had. You know, like there's a lot of pageant queens, there's a lot of like big explosive queens, and there's really the only comedy queen I saw was Bob. So like, I can't really base off of anything else from that, you know? I'm gonna have to wait until at least the first episode to really see how it plays out. So that was my review of the new release queens for season 8 of RuPaul's Drag Race. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any opinions on any of the queens that I talked about, go ahead and leave them in the comments below, and maybe we can have a little chat about that. See who's on team what, who's rooting for who wants who to go home. You know, I don't really care. As long as we're nice to each other, that's really all that matters. I am also planning to do like weekly episode recaps to go over each episode to see like what the funny parts were, what the bad parts were. Do I agree with who went home? Do I agree with who won? Stuff like that. To see what other people's opinions are and stuff like that. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget all the links to all of my social media are in the description below, so go ahead and follow me on that. Also, don't forget to be nice to every employee that works wherever you end up going today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!